We're taking a look at another masterclass today. Let's jump in and check it out. This is the Thomas Frank Masterclass. Thomas Frank, of course, is the head coach of Brentford right now. He did do a video called Masterclass that is kind of a part of a series and all that, talking about, playing styles and things like that, taking risks, and when you're not taking a risk, it's still taking a risk. But creating wide overloads, playing a winger at wingback and things like that. So we're going to take a look at a tactic today created what I assume is based on that video, or at least how Thomas Frank manages his team and utilizes his tactics. So we're going to take a look at with our three teams as usual of Liverpool and Aston Villa in the Premier League and our championship side of Ipswich Town. Unfortunately, the only description says Thomas Frank Brentford tactic style masterclass, and that is it. No comments, no anything. So we're going to check it out with our teams and see how it does. Let's jump into the Premier League and just check it out. Well, taking a look at the Premier League table, unfortunately, it didn't work all that well for our two teams. 66 points for Aston Villa, 65 for Liverpool. It's 81 goals at least. You've got some goals there, but overall, yeah, I think you could have done a little bit better. Of course, as I say that, I mean, if you took control of this, you could definitely do a bit better of a job. There's a lot of wiggle room that you could do when you do your own tactical changes, training, transfers, things like that. But it does look like Liverpool had a pretty successful, somewhat domestic cup run. Carabao Cup final against Tottenham, 2-1. You get one trophy. FA Cup final, unfortunately, 0-2 against Arsenal, but you do get to another final. So runners up, not bad. And an absolutely perfect run through Europe. You get to the Europa League final. You win against Sevilla 3-1. So cups are where it's at this time around. Carabao Cup winner, UEFA Europa League winners, runners-up of the FA Cup, okay, I'll give you that. But Premier League is pretty awful. Squad-wise, we're getting some green again. I guess that's not too bad. 30 goals for Nunez, Jota with 20, Salah with 19. Not a bad front set right there. Salah with 19 assists, and then average rating, well, Kelleher's in there, but Salah with his 7.24. Well, unfortunately for Aston Villa, 1-3 in the Carabao Cup fourth round is where you lose out against Chelsea, and the fourth round of the FA Cup 1-2, well, Chelsea again. They had a pretty nice run in the Europa Conference League. Unfortunately, in the semis is where they faltered. 0-1 away from home against Eintracht Frankfurt, and then a 1-1 draw is not enough to get you through to the final. So overall, sure, semifinals of the Europa Conference League is pretty nice, and it's kind of your shining spot here. FA Cup, Carabao Cup, not great. Premier League, definitely not great. And only 5 in the green. And is that Philip Coutinho? Yep, he's in one of them. So 27 goals for Ollie Watkins, not bad. 23 for Zaniolo. Assists, 13 for Douglas Luiz, 12 for Ramsey. Those are the only ones in double digits. And then John McGinn, of course, with a 7.23. Data hub for Aston Villa, yeah, the attacking side definitely is not there. You don't have the dribbles, the passing, the crossing, anything like that. Defensively, at least you're covering the bases. Some not too bad, others just on the line. But 1.79 goals per game, not great. You've seen better. 1.18 conceded, 1.37 xG against, it's kind of average-ish. And a plus 22 clear-cut chances, 1 every 76 minutes. Liverpool's data hub, you do have some attacking side there. I mean, you did have 81 goals, so not too bad there. And you are fulfilling everything defensively, Premier League-wise, so not bad. Goals per game, 2.13 is just low for them. 1.18 conceded is a little high for them. 0.96 xG against, just smidgen higher than usual. And a plus 64 clear-cut chances. Wow, 1 every 51 minutes. Premier League stats, most points per game, Aston Villa in 6th with 1.74, Liverpool with 1.71. They were not far apart. Most goals, first, of course, for Liverpool with 81, drawing with Manchester City. Still, he wanted more. But few shots against, Liverpool in 5th with 293, Aston Villa in 7th with 380. Most dribbles made, Liverpool in 6th with 642. And then most shots for Liverpool in 2nd with 559, Aston Villa in 4th with 503. Well, how did our championship side of Ipswich Town do? Well, they're back in the playoffs, I guess. 6th place, not terrific. 75 goals, 77 points. They only made it to the semifinals, and they lost handily 3-1 on aggregate. Domestic Cups, nothing earth-shattering. They lose out in the Carabao Cup second round, 1-1 in penalties against Tottenham. I mean, they got to penalties, which is nice. But against Everton, they lose out in the third round replay. So overall, yeah, we've definitely seen better tactics for this team. Getting to the playoffs is finally back on store, but, what are you going to do when you get handed a 3-1 aggregate loss? But FA Cup, Carabao Cup, they didn't do great. But they were up against Premier League teams, so Squad-wise, 2 in the green. Yay. 19 goals for Hurst, though, at least topping the charts, even with only 25 starts. Assists, 10 for Connor Chaplin. Leaf Davis only down with 5, but he does come in at second in the average rating with 702. A Harry Clark 707 tops the list. Championship stats, Ipswich in 8th with 1.6 points per game. Most goals in 8th with 76. Fewest shots against in 3rd with 350. Most dribbles made in 3rd with 815. And then most shots for in 2nd with 633. So let us take a look at the tactic itself. We start out with a sweeper keeper in support, fullbacks on the left and the right in support, a central defender in defend next to a ball-playing defender in defend, DM in defend, box-to-box in support next to advanced playmaker in support, inside forwards on both sides in attack, and a pressing forward in attack up front. Positive mentality, in possession, attacking with is fairly wide, approach play, pass into space, overlap on the left and the right, passing directness is slightly shorter, tempo is slightly higher, mix crosses and run at defense. In transition, counter press, counter, distribute to the flanks, and take long kicks. Out of possession, a high press line of engagement, a higher defensive line, trigger press more often, and prevent your goalkeeper distribution. So how did it do for our 3 teams? I mean, Ipswich back in playoffs, which is nice to see, but I mean, still, you kind of want them to be up there in the 1st and 2nd mark, like they have been most of the time throughout the last couple of months. And if we look at Aston Villa, yeah, I mean, they get to 6th, which isn't great. 66 points is about 10 lower than usual. Liverpool about 20 points lower than usual. They just didn't score the goals. Their upfront prowess this time around was just non-existent. They got the defensive pieces, just maybe a tinge higher than usual, but still. I mean, the goals per game were just pretty awful for these 2 teams who usually get a lot better than this. I mean, attacking-wise, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you took control of this yourself, you could do a lot better. Do your own training, transfers, things like that, your own match shouts, and tactical changes during matches. You could definitely do a lot better. You have a lot of room in these losses to turn them into wins. But overall, I mean, again, this is a Thomas Frank masterclass. It is for a Brentford team that kind of fits his style. It is not for a Liverpool or Aston Villa all the time. And don't forget, this is just a holiday sim. I'm doing absolutely nothing, so I'm not taking control of anything. That definitely doesn't help either. But take it for what it's worth. If you have tried it, definitely let us know how it worked for you down below. But that is it for me, Sefian FM, for the Football Manager blog channel, saying thank you as always for watching. Take care and enjoy.